So, why is steroids so normalised? Because I've been doing some thinking about this. Now, a lot of people look up to people that have like amazing physiques, but a lot of those people that have those amazing physiques obviously are taking steroids. And steroids is one of the only drugs that someone takes and looks better on. Like, if you take someone who drinks a lot of alcohol, they are going to look terrible. If you have someone that takes a lot of cocaine or heroin or any other sort of substance like that, they're going to just look horrible. And no one's going to look up to someone who's been a raging coke addict for 5 years or 10 years, or a heroin addict or crack. But with steroids, it doesn't work like that. It's because the drug, you know, enhances your physique. You know, like 9 times out of 10, you're going to look amazing after taking steroids. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Obviously, your skin can go all bad, and you can develop like gyno and stuff like that. I mean, not everyone looks amazing after taking steroids, but the general sort of consensus is that once you start taking steroids and working out and doing everything right, you're going to look pretty amazing. Because it's funny that I've definitely been tempted before to take steroids, but not necessarily for my own gain. It's more just been like to keep up with what I think I should look like. Because you only got to go on Instagram and see like how amazing some of these people look after just taking a small dose, and you just think, well, I want that. And I think the reality is now that I've been training for over 10 years, and I've only I still don't have the body that I want. And I think what you can actually achieve naturally compared to what you can achieve on performance enhancing drugs is just such a wide gap. You know, if you take I know someone that was taking Anavar, right? And I was doing a diet, so I was trying to lean down. And he was doing the same, but he was taking Anavar, and he was stronger and way more shredded than what I was, and also eating not as lower calories as what I was within like 4 or 5 months of taking it, and me just doing it natural. Like it was just I couldn't even compete, and he was only on Anavar, not taking all the really heavy stuff. So, it can be quite disheartening knowing that what you can actually build naturally is just really not that impressive compared to if you do hop on a cycle. I know personally that when I've got visible abs and I look shredded and stuff, which I did last year, I went from like 15 stone to 12.5 stone. I looked amazing with my shirt off. I had very visible abs and I looked good, but I wasn't strong at all. I couldn't eat hardly half the time. Like I just felt like I had like one cheat day a week, but even then, I struggled to even eat the food because I'd shrunk my metabolism so much. I wouldn't say I had really bad brain fog because, to be honest, I was drinking a lot of caffeine to sort of substitute my hunger. So I had the energy from that. But if I wasn't drinking caffeine, then yeah, 100% I would have been struggling. You have low libido, you got no sort of sex drive. So yeah, it's to actually sort of get to a point where you are lean and like really shredded and beach ready, but then in the gym be strong. It's just not natural. That's just not something you can achieve naturally, unless you have really good genetics. And that's the thing. Like if you're sitting there going, why don't I have the body I want? And it will be due to the fact that you either aren't willing to sacrifice to the life that it takes to get to that physique where you look up like absolutely shredded. You can't be eating what you want when you want. You just can't be doing that, and you can't be doing really. You're not going to be getting like 150, 160 bench presses when you're like 12.5 stone and stuff. It's just not going to happen if you're natural. And I think it just gets very disheartening. And obviously like genetics as well, like I know that I suffer with a bit of like on my chest potential sort of puberty gyno, because no matter how lean I get, I still don't have that nice curved chest, and for a long time that kind of made me feel a bit insecure And I still might have some sort of little chest uplift in the future. But money wise, I don't have that right now. I only believe in sort of getting anything cosmetic done on the body if you can't change it yourself. Like if I knew I could lose another half a stone at 12.5 stone and it would be gone, then I would do that way. I'd do it the natural way. But I don't want you to feel, if you don't have the body that you want, that it's all for nothing, because you should go to the gym, you should still train, you should still try and like lift as heavy as possible, and sometimes like it's for your mind as well. But yeah, I mean, people say you can't compare your physiques. You're gonna with other people, but you're gonna do that. It's just, as humans, we are naturally competitive. I think it's really bad as well, a lot of these fitness influencers that don't address the fact that they are using a substance. Because I remember speaking to my mum the other day, and I asked her, I said, do you think Chris Hemsworth's on steroids? And she was like, oh, like, I'm not sure. Like she would have been leaning more towards saying no. And it's like, a lot of people don't know, or would just assume that that is naturally possible. So, there's a real sort of shift that needs to happen in people realizing what you can and can achieve without taking steroids. Which is why I think if people do take steroids, they should be open about it. I know if I was to take steroids, I would be, because I wouldn't want someone to follow me and be like, oh, well, if I just eat well and train really hard, then I can look like that. But it's not like that. There is some rare cases where people have amazing genetics and they are lean and quite strong. But it's like one in 100 million or something like that. It's very far in between. But I think it's just become so normalised now, like steroids. You've got like events where these fitness influencers are there and they're all taking substances, and you've got young lads going up to them, idolising them, and I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think you should be really looking up, if you're not looking to take steroids, you shouldn't really be looking up to someone who is taking a huge dose and going, yeah, I'm going to try this way of dieting or training that works for them, because they are on a performance enhancing drug. You need to be like following your own plan and doing what works for your body, not for what works for someone that is on that, because the gap is so far apart. And I think that's the problem now with steroids, is that I've read comments where people are like, oh, he's on steroids, of course he can lift that. And people reply saying things like, oh yeah, well, he still has to work hard and all that. It's only giving him a little bit of an edge. Like, that is so not true. It's not like it just enhances. It's not like you could bench 80 kilograms and you take steroids and you can bench 90. No, it's like you could bench 80 naturally, and you take steroids and you could be benching like 120, 130. Like the leap is that big. And it's the more it's becoming normalized now, steroids, the more there's this like delusion in that it's not like some magic pill, which it is a magic pill that will definitely enhance your physique overall massively. And also the fact that because it can make you look so good and make you feel so good, people aren't remembering how dangerous it is. That influencer Joe that died recently of obviously taking a lot of steroids throughout his life. It can just come out of nowhere and kill you. And I just think it's a bad thing that it has become so normalised. But yeah, I know personally later on in life I'm going to be a lot more tempted to maybe jump on like TRT or something like that. But I would only do that if I felt it was a really smart move to do. I'd be open and honest about it. And I certainly wouldn't be posting things like, oh, my physique looks amazing now because I switched my training up and all that. I know it would be because of that. So there's just, no point in lying about it. So, but yeah, just don't beat yourself up over the fact that you don't have this godlike physique, because it's not really that natural to obtain that. You kind of just want a middle ground where you look like you work out, but you can also enjoy your life. And that's kind of where I think I'm at now. I've done phases where I've just eaten everything in sight and just been very strong kind of thing, because I've just been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I've done it where, I've leaned right down. I'm not eating hardly anything. I look amazing with my shirt off, but everything else I'm just suffering with. So you kind of just want like a nice balance. And yeah, that's definitely where I'm at now. So don't beat yourself up over it if you don't have the body that you want. Just keep working out, and yeah, just focus on what you can actually achieve, and don't set the bar too high. And I hope you appreciated this video, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.